And then I'm going to try to throw out some options. Again, you gotta do your own thing. Everybody's risk tolerance is different. Everybody's financial status is different. Income is different, etc. So you got to do what's best for you, but you need to be able to find this information first, this kind of information. And again, I try to provide that here as often as possible, but even though I have opinions on it and I've done research on a lot of this, I am not the expert in this. And but these people are. You can get this kind of analysis. Again, I'm pointing you to Piper Academy and 9:30 a.m. Army Piper's there breaking this all down on the daily, going over all of the like FOMC meetings and the latest data that's coming out of the government, jobs, et cetera, et cetera. And speaking of jobs, that's the next section that we're going to listen to, where she basically highlights, okay, can things get worse? Well, sure they can. If job numbers come back bad. And that's, again, something followed on Piper Academy that he was talking about. Those job numbers come out on the monthly, okay, but they are always revised. And definitely over the last few months, especially, we've seen downward revisions. I mean, was it September or October? They did a downward revision of over 818,000 jobs that just don't exist. They existed, but not really, because that was only on paper, and don't exist. And then there are things like ghost jobs. So again, companies that will throw jobs up on Indeed or whatever other job board they have, and they're not really looking to fill those jobs, especially like government jobs. They're not looking to fill those, but they want to put that out there. Now, whether that's to go and find, okay, let's feel out the talent pool, or whether that's let's see how much interest there is in this, how bad is the job market, how good is the job market, market. Say that 5 times fast. That's all, folks. That's what you're seeing with those kind of things. So let's bring up this last piece, and we'll talk about that, and then I'm gonna kind of try to bring it all together here. Go, Lena.
And a growing number of US consumers is actually falling behind on their monthly bills. Okay, so that doesn't sound very promising at all. I'm sure that you would agree with me, but things are unlikely to worsen unless employment numbers weaken.
Right.
And that is the last portion of this video that I would like to focus on. We will take a look at the employment numbers in the private sector. Private sector employment numbers have been declining. As of November of 2024, full-time private sector jobs dropped by 1.8 million year over year.
Now, I want to pause there, because that was also some of the ways that the government was fudging numbers earlier when they were putting out job numbers. She points out full-time employment numbers are dropping. Full-time employment numbers. So if you got a full-time job, maybe you need to take a part-time job in order to make the ends meet. Lord knows. But if you're trying to move from full-time employment to full-time employment, that opportunity doesn't necessarily exist anymore, because these numbers for full-time employment are dropping. But what the government has tried to do, or at least this current administration has tried to do, is to fudge those numbers by saying, look at all these jobs. Well, one, they're all part-time jobs. That's first. And second, again, you're forgetting job revision numbers, where those job numbers actually drop off. Full-time jobs, full-time employment here in the United States is falling. That's simple.
Year-over-year decline. That is a steep decline on a year-over-year basis. Government jobs rose over the same time period. So as private sector employment declines, we see a consistent rise in government jobs. But we need private employment to grow to sustain government expansion.
Okay, and 2 things she's pointed out there that you need to kind of wrap your head around. One, I mentioned earlier, Government jobs, that's what's expanding. The government sector is what expanding, or at least as far as the jobs posted are concerned. A lot of times, and in most cases, governments aren't going to fill these positions. They're just running them out there to say, yeah, we're looking, we're actively hiring and blah, blah, blah. That's not the case. They're ghost jobs. They're there, but they're not there. It's that simple. And again, in what sector is this growing? The government sector. I'm sorry, the government is too big as it is. It needs to shrink. Private sector jobs, private sector businesses, that's what needs to grow. And that's the stuff that drives this country. But unfortunately, those are the ones that have taken the greatest hit and continue to take the hit.